Yo, 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 welcome back to the Relistenables. As always, myself, Stephen Moustaris. And then with me now, Jesus, with 4 or 5 times, I don't even know.
I think it's number 4.
Yeah, number 4. My cousin, as always, Walter Cerrato III. Thank you again, dude. Seriously. Means a lot.
Thanks for having me.
And then I also, before we even announce this, I just gotta thank you for always coming up with that next album you want to do. Like, it means a lot.
No. Hey,
because I'm sitting here struggling right now. I have like so many albums I have on a list that it's like, because there at first I was like, man, do I do this in order of like my favorite albums of all time?
Yeah.
And then it would get hard to do. So I just like pounding them out, just getting them done. Like I don't even care. Sooner or later, they'll definitely be listenable. And it's real funny because the last one we did was like Registration, which Kanye actually has a big part of this album. And then, like I said, the last one I just did was John Legend, and yeah, he's also on this album, which we'll break down too. But like, it's just funny how they're like working together. Like we were talking about yesterday after basketball. Like it's funny how they're starting to flow together.
they're like it's like the cousin.
Yeah.
This would be like the cousin of Late Registration.
It's weird. Yeah, hell yeah. But we went with an '03 classic, almost '04, but November 14th was the release date.
Yeah.
None other than Jay-Z, Sean Carter dropped the Black album, which was supposed to be his retirement album, which we'll definitely get into. Didn't turn out to be, but man, like I said, released November 14th, '03. Label Rockefeller Records and Def Jam Records. And for this one, dude, there's a plethora of producers on here. I don't know. I have a couple things to say about it, so we will get into it. But just off the top, Just Blaze, Kanye West, the Neptunes, Eminem makes an appearance on here, DJ Quick, Timbaland, Ninth Wonder, Rick Rubin. And for those that don't know, the Neptunes was definitely huge with Pharrell. That was his group.
Yeah.
So mainly Pharrell technically, but the Neptunes at the time, that's who he was really trying to promote. So. And this album, I think, is only, 55 minutes and, 23 seconds. So, the leading singles from it, the first one, Change Clothes, came out the week before with Pharrell. And then number 2, Dirt Off Your Shoulders, on March 2nd of '04. Which it's funny doing these things because the singles always seem to release after the album, which is cool because it kind of gets them their own little, charting and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then the third was 99 Problems. It was April 27th of '04. And real quick before we get into this, just the charting and everything. This album sold 3.4 million copies, which I was kind of expecting a little more. If I'm gonna be honest.
Was too when I looked at it.
It's still a shit ton. That's still a bunch, way more than we could ever do.
Yeah.
But charted number 1 in the U.S. for Billboard's 200. Sold 463,000 first week. Jay-Z's best-selling album of the 2000s, by the way. I didn't know if you knew that.
Saw that.
Which I was kind of surprised because I just thought Blueprint 3 maybe would have done it just because all the names are on there. But yeah, like I said, it's certified 3 times platinum in the U.S. and then I think it made it platinum in the U.K. and Canada. So, and the only cool thing I could find about this for album wise was it was ranked the number 136 on the decades best album. So,
which 2000s?
Yeah, it's 2009. So, so dude, for me, this album. I think we can be pretty honest. Encore, 99 Problems, Dirt Off Your Shoulders was probably the first 3 you think of when you think of this album.
Yeah, absolutely.
For real. If at the time maybe Change Clothes just because it was the first single, it was the lead single. But for me, if you have something to say.
I was going to say, so you said Change Clothes was released 1 week before the album?
1 week. Well, 10 days technically. But yeah.
That's not a lot of lead time. Typically, it was a couple of months. You do the cycle where, the music videos on TRL. What was the BET one? 106 in Park.
I almost said Blue Side Park. It's hilarious.
106 in Park. So yeah, when you said it was just a little over a week, that was kind of surprising. I forgot Change Clothes was on this album when I went back and looked at it.
I do. All right, so me too. I'm kind of shocked. And I will get into it, I guess, but I'll say it now. Encore was supposed to be the number 1 lead single, but Jay-Z's team was sitting there, didn't like it at all. Everybody in his team did not like it, other than Jay-Z, and it almost didn't even make the album. That's how and it turns out to be one of the biggest bangers on it. And we'll talk about it too because this ends up getting into a Linkin Park album that comes out the next year, a Collision Course, but which most of these songs come off of. So I don't know if Encore got big because of Linkin Park in that collaboration because I think you listen to
it was a great song already.
Oh, phenomenal song.
That collaboration, I think that was 6 songs they did that.
Yeah,
Collision Course.
Yeah.
And I was a big Linkin Park fan, still am, even though they're not, active anymore. And obviously, I've always been a huge Jay-Z fan. when that album came out, it was a moment. That's for
Oh,
sure.
dude, one of the biggest moments.
Yeah.
Especially for rap and rock to go together. Like, I know later on in the 2000s we see, what was it, Nelly and Tim McGraw came out with like the country, in which nowadays is kind of funny because 2022, as we're in right now, like we're starting to hear those like country rappers and like the rappers.
Well, like Lil Nas X. I mean, look at how he burst on the scene with the Old Town Road, the hip hop.
Hate it. I hate that song, but it was huge. I can't deny the success it had. And then what's the dude's name that something Wallen now? I forget his first name, but these are like country guys rapping, and now everything kind of making it big. But
it's funny how like the genres are all kind of merging together into one.
Well, it's because
it's kind of like how, if you think about it, I might be getting a little too deep off here when I say this, but like if you look at like America is like a melting pot. Like how many like people don't. How do I say this? Interracial couples are much more accepted now. You have people that are having kids of different backgrounds and things like that. Am I getting too deep off?
No, I was just going to say, it's our generation now.
Yeah.
We grew up on so much music, and like remember our parents make fun of us for rapping, like, or that, not rapping necessarily us, but like our fans, like, or I guess I should say, or like us being a super big fan of rap. Yeah. We used to get made fun of all the time, saying our fans. Shit, I'm wearing the backward jersey now. Like, you and I definitely used to rock the backwards hats, the sideways hats. Like, we used to get crazy with it, but I think it's definitely our generation. It's just, we're starting to take over. We're finally getting older and everything. Like, we're starting to run it basically now. And I think it's showing how open we are and what we came up off. Like, so many different genres. Because there's rock to country to that alternative rock that got cool. Punk rock got cool. And then, like, clearly we already said rap. So, like, it's just really cool to see all of this go together. And you kind of say Jay-Z kind of started it. Like, for real.
In a way, he was ahead of his time, kind of, getting these cross genres and these collaborations that he did. I mean, didn't he also do a collaboration with R. Kelly, who's always been seen as like R&B? Yeah. So I think he was definitely ahead of his time there. And I mean, can we just? We're kind of on the topic now. Jay-Z, it's no doubt, right? Mount Rushmore.
Oh, easily.
Like one of the to me one of the biggest locks.
Oh, hands
of
down.
all time.
Hands down.
And then, like, there might be like some more like underground rappers that some people might argue, or like maybe that guy just never really had a chance. Some people might or like Big L or something like that I know some people like love, or
Big Pun,
something like
KRS-One,
right,
big one right there. Like,
but do we want to get into the Mount Rushmore talk?
I have it down. I have it written down. I was going to ask you who could you? Because I mean, seriously, to go into it, this Jay-Z's dropped his first album ever in 1996.
Reasonable Doubt.
And then every single year since came out with albums. The Black Album's his 8th album, and 8th studio album, I should say. Because I'm sure he's got a bunch of mixtapes and everything, but like just studio albums. This is his 8th one in 8 years. And the cool thing, I think, what gets him all the respect and everything, not only coming around Biggie and stuff, but like the man's known as Mr. One Take. He would literally go into the booth and just go, "Hey man, I'm just go, no paper, no nothing, just freestyle everything, one take." And you can kind of like, that's one of my things. Like, you can kind of hear it sometimes. Like, if he really cared enough, like, I think it's what's cool about him. But if he cared, like most artists do, where like they make like 100 different versions of songs, like, and like they keep redoing it, retaking it, like, I'm sure they would sound even better. So that's how impressive it is that he does come out with these songs that are like, you can kind of tell like maybe he like tripped up a little bit on his word or something, but it still flows well. So he just says, "Fuck it, like, this is who I am." So, I mean, who's in your Mount Rushmore then? Because I was gonna ask, like, I think clearly you have to have like Biggie and Tupac in there, but like, this is where it gets tough because we can go to the 80s, like anything. That's why I was kind of interested. Clearly, this is a rough tape. We didn't like sit here and talk about it earlier and be like, "Oh, let's write it down."
We're probably going to end up naming like 10 guys.
Yeah. So what is it? 5 technically in our Rushmore?
Yeah. So I would go Jay-Z, Eminem, Nas, Tupac, and probably Biggie.
I'm not mad at it.
Is that like, it seems so vanilla?
I know a lot of people right now, especially the people that like, because I know we seem old now, but like the generation before us would hate us right now because we didn't put KRS-One in there. Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah.
Big Pun, Big L, like we said.
Ja Rule.
I was a huge fan of the RZA.
I just tried to do a Rosillo there.
That's hilarious. Fuck Ja Rule, but I didn't even write him down.
Where is Ja?
We could even say like LL Cool J. Like for real, he in the '80s was pretty hot. Run DMC was in there.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of the SZA and or the RZA.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, the whole SZA, the RZA, all of
Method Man, Redman. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Rakim. I mean, Jesus Lord. So I mean, those guys. You can even go with like NWA, like Eazy-E, Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Like I kind of want to put Dr. Dre up there though, just because of the producing skills and just because he really made the West Coast sound the way it was. So like
he would absolutely be on there for Mount Rushmore producers.
Yeah, 100%. He wasn't the greatest rapper. I mean, I like Dr. Dre.
But
and I love
his commercial success was undeniable.
Oh, undeniable. But yeah, I think you probably nailed it on the dot. Like because you can't. Because I've never even because Jay-Z, like don't get me wrong, if you don't like going back into old music, like you don't like looking back into old albums and stuff, like people that are my age probably don't like Jay-Z that much just because it's pretty easy. I shouldn't say hate on him, but like easy to skip over him because we didn't get the prime of him. Like we were literally born. I was 3 years old when he started his run. You know what I'm saying? So like it took me until just a couple of years ago to really, really go into his old stuff because I mean. Most people think of like Forever Young and stuff, which isn't even anywhere close to his top 10 song or anything. Like maybe commercial success, but like because that's when like the internet came out and everything. But like that song's nothing. That's like Michael Jordan coming back for the Wizards. Like just it was cool to see him. He'd have his 40-point game or whatever, but it's like it was just like a little old hit for him. And then I mean. I've said it before too. There's a lot of features he has in the past couple of years that I actually hate. Like I just don't think he does that well. But it's older Jay-Z. Like he's already done everything. So like to go look back from '96 to '03 he's almost untouchable.
Well, like we talked about before, we did Get Rich or Die Trying. I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers, but I would say he's like a lock for probably top 3 most successful, at least as far as career earnings, rappers of all time, right?
No, easily.
So
I think the only two ahead of him I really think are Diddy and
Dr. Dre
because of their sales and everything. And then honestly, I think even Master P has a bunch of money. You'd have to look into that, but I know he's very rich just because of how many people he signed and everything, and what he did for ATL, like all that. Oh my goodness! But
he made his money. Like what does he have to prove anymore?
Literally nothing. Nothing. And that's the cool part about this album that I really liked because it is supposed to be his retirement album, and you can see like it's a way more vulnerable Jay-Z. Like his first song that we hear, the interlude's not a song, it's just like a little like break-in, which I love. But like his first song is December 4th, his birthday, and it's about his mom's Gloria talking about like
his childhood.
I thought it was pretty funny. It's like he was the only kid because how many? He had 6 siblings or something like that, a bunch. And she was like, I knew he was special because it was the only birth I ever had that it didn't hurt. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. And then like him teaching himself how to ride a bike and everything. Like I thought some of the things she used, examples she used, I thought were kind of funny. Yeah. But then he comes on and just absolutely murders it. And like he talks about his dad, that's why he came such hard headed and everything. Right. When he lost his dad went away and everything from him, like. He's like his teachers couldn't tell him anything, his parents couldn't, or his mom couldn't tell him anything. Nobody could tell him shit, and that's why he was such a hard-headed dude. And I think that's why I kind of I guess I can relate to him a little bit there. Clearly, I can't relate to being born in the hood or whatever, but coming up on hard times. But seriously, that's a huge thing for me. I was a hard-headed kid. You watch me in basketball and stuff back in the day. We all are though. Everybody has their own little time there, especially in middle school, and elementary school, but his reasons were a big thing that I could relate to. And then, I don't know, you can hear it on a lot of those songs, and we'll break down, I guess, a little bit. But he definitely gets very vulnerable compared to usually his flow and his cockiness, which we hear a lot on here too.
Oh yeah.
His penmanship, just the way he can write when he does write, it's just how impressive it is. So, for me, like we said, the 3 main songs, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, freaking 99 Problems, Encore, those ones. Hype, everybody knows. Change Clothes technically was one of the bigger ones too, but re-listening to this, what some of the songs, I always ask this, I love asking this because it's the whole point of the re-listening, but what are some of the songs that really stuck out to you after such after such time, because I don't know when the last time you listened to this album.
So this was one of those. I know we spoke of this in the past. That you put together your playlist of music you want to listen to, and you just shuffle, and you get to cherry pick off your favorite albums.
Oh,
for
sure.
There's a couple songs on here that have been on my go-to playlist that I shuffled for 2003. So probably coming up on 20 years or 20 years.
Oh, for sure.
I forgot. I'm sure we'll get into it. Like I said, I completely forgot Change Clothes was on this album. What more can I say? So this was one of the first albums I got after I got my driver's license.
Oh, yeah.
And, this was, I'm going to age myself when I say this, and it's a whole other conversation, but back then it was, nobody had the factory head unit stereo in their car. It was all about the subwoofers and what can you get that's going to hit the hardest. Well, not that a lot of the beats here, they didn't hit hard like the Dirty South, songs would. But Gladiator, my favorite movie of all time, the little intro at the beginning that just flows right into the song. Hearing that come through my speakers, it took me right back to I think this was my sophomore year of high school this came out. Took me right back to listening to that song, driving to school in the morning, one eye open, half awake, but you hear that. Just goosebumps. You talk about one of your favorite artists, and then he ties in a clip from one of your favorite movies. That song stuck out. This December 4th, and I think this is kind of the one we talked about this before, how your perspective in music and what you appreciate changes. Like you just said, he was super vulnerable. His mom's on that track, and she's doing what moms do.
Yeah,
she's saying stuff that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of rappers out there, not just rappers, but there's a lot of people out there who wouldn't want that getting out because they're embarrassed by it. But that's someone who's sure of themselves, who knows what they're doing, and it was really, you could tell this was a personal album for him. Just the beats, this was just a very solid, and like you said, just a little under an hour. Allure is a song.
Yeah,
man.
Oh yeah.
Every time I hear this song, it cuts pretty deep. My first song, going back and listening, I'm sure we'll talk about this some more too. You go back and listen to it, you think about the context of what was going on. Like you said, that this was promoted, and maybe it was a little gimmicky. Maybe he knew all along, that this retirement was only going to be, it was going to be a little bit of a publicity stunt.
Literally 3
Maybe he really thought he was going to retire, but that song is a perfect way to cap off this album. So I might be getting a little ahead of ourselves.
No, I love it.
To answer your question,
Dude, seriously, because I think the one that, for me, that stuck out, to go off of yours, honestly, I'm not even lying to you, dude. I think it might be the first time I've heard it, and not too, Jesus Lord, probably 12 years, dude, no lie. Thread? I think, oh my God. Oh my God. I got some things to talk about that later on. It's going to win an award or two. His lyrics on there are ridiculous. It's produced by Ninth Wonder. I don't know, man. I just thought that entire thing was amazing. Opens up with Cedric the Entertainer. I thought that was pretty cool.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, that's
I figured you would know that. Okay.
Yeah, I looked that up.
Who is that? I feel like I should know.
There's a couple shockers on here, honestly. Like we talked about as well. This is literally on Encore. It's the first time that we
Kanye is on there.
Kanye, John Legend's the first song John Legend's on. Is for a rap, a very big, huge album, a huge commercial success album. Yeah. And this is what gets him. This is why Kanye gets him to make an album. Literally the next year in 04.
So sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
So I remember when I heard Encore, a lot of times artists will have just a background singer or something and they don't get any credit. You don't know who they are. That is exactly what I thought of when I heard this. This was before College Dropout. This was before Through the Wire. Wasn't that his first song?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I had no idea who he was. But going back and listening to it now, it's wow, that's Ye on there.
Yeah, no, seriously, I thought that was phenomenal because it was because there was 4 of them. It was John Legend, Don Crawley, GLC, who made an appearance in Late Registration, and then Kanye. And it's technically supposed to be a family sing along because those were the 4 people that were always writing and always helping Jay out. His samples, like you said, the beats were phenomenal. I think there only might be one that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and we'll get into it clearly, but. Dude, it was shocking for me. like I said, like there's just so many things that I read up on this album that just really blew my mind. Like for you, like Allure, like the one you were talking about, good old Pharrell, like he said how his favorite songs ever by Jay-Z are, like Dead Presidents 1 and Dead Presidents 2, which were a softer beat, like a more like emotional beat.
Yeah.
But he goes so hard, and he felt like he literally like Pharrell's quoted on saying he made that like beat and everything because it's not sampled or anything. It's literally just a creative beat for him, and it's way slower pace and everything. It's a more emotional song. But he wanted to get Jay-Z to do that one more time, just to let himself really be vulnerable on a song, which you hear. And he's like, dude, he said like quote unquote was something like, whenever Jay-Z, like in Dead Presidents 1 and 2, whenever he allows himself to be on an emotional song, it's like he connects with like his past lives and stuff where he just lets everything out. And it's like, he's just a killer, dude. Like, I don't know. It was phenomenal. I think he literally, that's another thing. He went in there one take, no pen, no paper, no nothing. Just went in and absolutely fucking murdered it. And I thought that was amazing.
So like talking about Jay-Z and like his just natural ability, I mean, he's definitely way up there for just natural rapping ability. Like
for sure.
You could maybe say, like if you want to talk like who's the best storyteller, who's the best like Eminem, I would put way up there as far as technical, like the technical side of Eminem's rapping.
Yeah.
But like he's the kind of guy. Eminem's sitting down and he's writing lyrics, just like in 8 Mile. He's ripping them up. He's writing more lyrics. Yeah, he's very technical. There's probably 50 different drafts of one of his songs. Where Jay-Z, like anytime you see him get behind the mic, like you just brace yourself. Like you don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't even think he knows. He just goes in.
Yeah.
Like I love that Lil Wayne. You can even put the respect on his name for that too.
Oh, absolutely.
He's big on that.
Yeah.
Like, but there's very few artists that do that. Like we've seen 50 in all his movies, like and everything. He's always been big on right music.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some. So like, I guess one thing I wanted to bring up on Moment of Clarity, like one of the first lines he talks about how he's like forgiving Tupac and everything for taking for the Biggie beef and everything.
Yep.
Dude, he says like in the first line, did you catch it that he's like talking about how like I was never close to him or anything, but like it was because he was doing heroin and I was pushing.
So I'm actually really glad you said that.
Was Tupac doing heroin?
No.
I just misread that. I misread it.
He says pop.
Oh my
He's
god!
talking about that.
No. I thought it was pop the entire time.
I know that I'm happy because I'd say probably for the first 10 years I ever heard the song, I thought he said pop, and I'm like, I always feel like this should be a way bigger deal that he's talking about Tupac selling heroin. Yeah. Like, well, why didn't this like become a big controversy or something like this?
The Tupac.
But then I heard it again, and I was like, wait a minute, did he say pop or Pac? And then you go back, and I can't remember when I did it, but like I pulled up the lyrics, and it's like, oh, he says pop. So maybe if he would have said like pops, that would make
sense. See, the reason I expected
I'm actually kind of glad that you heard
I expected it. Well, it makes sense if it is Pac because he's the not main reason that Biggie dies, but he's a huge reason that like the whole beef and everything. The big reason both of them are dead. Yeah. So like, and that's we all know Jay-Z and Biggie were homeboys, tight as hell. All right, and that's actually we'll bring that up right now too before we get into our awards and shit. Like okay, so now in 2022, Pusha T we were just talking about. He just dropped his last album literally this week. And Neck and Wrist, he had Jay-Z on there, and Jay-Z actually like kind of goes in on talking about because you know how if the narrative's out there like if Biggie didn't die, is Jay-Z even that important in the rap game? And you know Jay-Z talks about it, kind of like confronts it and everything, and says like he definitely would have. It was the hard work and everything. But like that's a good question though. Like if Biggie's alive, does Jay-Z get the love that he gets? Because I mean personally, I'm just gonna go straight off the hot take coming in. Like I don't think so. I think he's still a respected rapper and everything. But I think it's like, because all right, let's be real here. And so you stop me if I get crazy here, because this is just the way I'm thinking. So we've always watched Kanye get, young brothered by Jay-Z forever, forever. And if it wasn't for Kanye's creativity and being so like wild, like we talked about on Late Registration, like Kanye wouldn't eventually have surpassed him, at least in the media and everything. Right. But he did because he is a very creative guy and turns in really weird.
He kind of made his own lane.
Jay-Z's so chill, such a smooth mover. Like, man got Beyonce. Like, how does Jay-Z get Beyonce? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a smooth mover. The way he talks, smooth everything. The dude just
He's a mogul.
crisp.
I mean, he's a mogul too.
I don't think he would have had the drive and everything to outshine Biggie. I think he would have just been fine doing whatever he's doing. So that's why I don't think he would ever got. I think these albums still would have sounded the same. Don't get me wrong, though. I think if you asked Jay-Z on his deathbed, like, hey, or gun to his head, like, you got to answer this truthfully. There's no way in hell that he did not, like, as in he definitely did, get at least some sort of, like, 3 or 4 to 40 songs that were written for Biggie or Biggie wrote, and Jay-Z kind of got them and kind of got to use them later on. I'm guaranteeing it. Which isn't a bad thing.
It's one of those things you probably never know the truth, but
I'm just guaranteeing. So like, there's probably a couple hits that he came out with over the years that okay, that was probably a Biggie song, or at least like maybe a hook or something was Biggie, and he just kind of went on with it. So I don't know. That's just a good question. Then, do you think he would have been who he is? Like,
well, definitely. I mean, Biggie passing away definitely kind of opened up the like who's going to take the mantle next, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you see Diddy kind of take it producing wise and takes that whole thing, like kind of just runs that, and then Jay-Z takes the actual like rapping part. So I don't know if either of them are as good.
So yeah, the and again, I don't want to talk out of my ass here.
I just did.
No. Because I by no means consider myself like a historian of hip hop, but I would say as far as like the New York City rap scene at the time, like I know there were some underground rappers that were pretty big at the time. You know, and Nas was there, and was it Onyx, and you could go down the list. But yeah, I feel like it definitely benefited from. Benefit sounds like the wrong word.
Career-wise, it did.
But taking advantage of a really shitty situation.
Yeah, because he could easily quit the rap. Yeah, which he kind of speaks about like, you know, how he just stayed confident and all that. Like, because I mean, in Lucifer, one of my favorite songs from this album, you and I were like kind of talking about it yesterday because I had it playing during Hoop, like. Which is it's one of the more well-known ones from this album for true hip-hop heads, like the ones that don't care about the 3 that we named, the 3 radio hits. Like Lucifer is one of the biggest ones, and that's actually what he talks about in this entire song. Kind of is like how it's not about the devil and everything, even though it's a very biblical song and a very religious like word. Like he always has some like good lyrics in there for it, but he said it's literally the battle within of how like revenge and everything is what turns you into evil. And how that's what it's all about. He said, fuck all the other noise. It's not about this guy with a pitchfork and everything. He said, hell no. It's about you within. And like clearly he had those feelings about going to like, you know, kill whoever killed Biggie, like getting the revenge on him and everything. Like seriously. So I know that he could have easily fucked up and went to jail forever. You know, fucked around and shot somebody. Yeah. I mean, which we all would. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a rapper thing either. That's anybody. Like, dude, like you and I, like I was just talking about with one of my friends the other day, like especially you and I, we're such like our family is such a big like dog family. Like if somebody killed our dog, like we're killing those people. There's not even a question. So like it's anything, like your friends, your family, anything. Like we're always like you get so mad you kind of like lose yourself and you're looking for revenge. Like so that's I don't know. I think yeah, to fully answer the question, like there's no doubt about it. Like Jay-Z definitely. Yeah, benefited, like you said, which is a bad thing to say because it's not like he wanted to take advantage of it. It just, what else are you going to do?
Well, Biggie definitely had the crown of the East Coast rappers.
Easily.
He had the crown.
Easily.
Biggie gets killed, and now who's going to take the crown?
I mean, shit, you can even make the argument, too. I know this isn't a Nas album, but you can make the argument, too, that Nas definitely took advantage, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, him and Jay-Z, they were head-to-head for a while. I mean, I know a lot of people think Jay-Z won. I mean, there are some people out there who think Nas won in that battle, but I mean, this album's not really even about it, so we're not going to get too much into it. But yeah, there's a lot of East Coast people that really take off because of Biggie's passing, but also same with West Coast rappers with Tupac dying. So we can go on it for days. But so are there any songs that you might not like talk about or might not win any award? Like for me, I don't think. I don't think Justify My Thug or anything is going to win anything for me. But honestly, it's one of those, okay, this one is produced by DJ Quick. DJ Quick's a very, very well-known producer. And it's one of the only ones that has a feature on it. It has Charlotte Gibson on it. This one of those ones, I thought, I mean, it might be in honesty, it might be in my nitpicks or whatever, but like, we'll get into that. But it was one that kind of like, I didn't like off the ear at first, but then you kind of look into it. I learned more that it's literally like a thug version of "Justify My Love" from Madonna, the 1990 song.
Okay.
So like, and that's one of the big samples on there. And it's,
I never thought about that one.
After reading that, I was like, okay, I like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that's also another one that he did one take, everything. Like his DJ Quick actually talks about it too. He's like, who does it? Like it's literally quoted. He would have to get an MTV interview in like 04, 05, like after this whole album, and he was talking about like something he was doing, but he like went back to the Jay-Z and was like, he said, who the fuck does that? Who goes into the booth? Like literally, I made like 4 or 5 beats for him. Jay-Z didn't like a couple of them, just like this one. Goes in there and says, all right, record that shit, bust it out one take.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why it's so impressive. Like, that's why it gained my respect more. Like, yeah, it's not the greatest sounding song at all on this album, but it's still so cool, and it's like it's a shout out to Madonna. It's really fucking dope. That's why it gained a lot of respect for me, and that's why I kind of listen to it more and more. But so that's for me. That might not be one that wins an award, and then the rest I think we might talk about. So sorry if I'm taking anything here. I'm sorry, but
nope.
Like it was tough to re-listen to this album and actually like give a couple of them like their chance, I guess. Like with like Encore, and like Public Service Announcement. Like that one for me, Public Service Announcement, PSA. Like that song is really tough for me to like listen to now because it was like the 2K, I think it was like 2K13, 2K14's like intro song. Yeah. Like remember LeBron got
Allow
to make
me to reintroduce myself,
which is a great song. It's a phenomenal song, but I think like playing 2K every single day for like 2 years, like it kind of ruined it for me. But then I thought it was really cool. I learned some shit about it, which I thought was really cool too. Like, so Public Service Announcement was supposed to be like a little like commercial for the song, like a little like kind of just like a quick 30-second like minute like interlude or not like prelude whatever type thing, like little take or whatever. And he went in there and it was supposed to have no hook, no anything. And he went in there and just freestyled because they needed like something just to add, just to make the song or the album a little longer. And he ends up banging out Public Service Announcement, which ends up turning into one of the biggest songs on the album. Like, there's no denying that. But I don't know. It's really cool to listen to because it's literally talking about him just being a self-made millionaire, which is it's a lot of this album is talked about how cocky he is and how like confident he is in his writing, like who he's became, all these things. So like, I don't know. I really like that. I thought that for me, I thought that was pretty dope. It was literally supposed to be no hook, no nothing. It's supposed to be like a minute long, and then he turns it into like a 4-minute song, and it turns into being one of the best ones. So, I don't know. Anything from you real quick that? Sorry to keep going for so long.
No, you're fine.
I think the rest of them, I think we're going to talk about.
Well, I know I've said it before. It's maybe not the best metric to grade a rapper by, but I always look at the length of the track.
Yeah.
Can you put 3 verses down, 3 hooks, whatever, throw a bridge in there? Like, can you rap for more than 35, 40 seconds? Like, I think a good verse should be between 45 seconds to a minute. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't lay down a good verse. It's short, but, I mean, I think there's a short list of rappers that can rap for, 2.5 minutes straight.
That's short.
It's funny, the Public Service Announcements.
3 minutes.
Yeah, so just under 3 minutes. And it's the first 3:12, but everything else is under 4 minutes. I feel like if you pick up a track list for name any rap album that has dropped in the last year, I think the majority of the songs are going to be 3.5 minutes, even under 3 minutes.
No, yeah,
and I know that like I'm probably sound like an old man when I say that.
No.
But I really do think there is something to like, a catchy hook is cool and everything like that. You repeat that a few times, but what are you saying? What are you really saying? Like, is there substance to your content? And Jay-Z has always had substance to his content. I think it's worth pointing out here some of the like pop culture things that have become a part of our everyday vernacular. Maybe not everyday so much now, but like the "allow me to reintroduce myself." How many times have you heard that reused in a movie and another song, copied, whatever it is? Dirt Off Your Shoulder. I mean, was that the first time like this whole entire thing became something?
Oh, he made it popular as hell.
Yeah,
he made it popular as hell.
I mean, I don't know how much you see people doing that anymore.
Bring them out from What More Can I Say? Bring them out. T.I.'s biggest song.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's where it's from.
Like the sample in that song. 99 Problems. I got 99
I can't
problems.
wait to break that song down for you.
So, like, again, another song. It's like not just, oh, that's one of Jay-Z's most popular songs. Like that phrase, I got 99 problems, but how many times has that been reused, recycled in other songs, in movies, in television?
Literally every song. Not to be funny here, just because I just did it a couple episodes ago. 2014 Forest Hills Drive, J. Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, his opening track is called January 28th, and he steals that. It's literally, well, I think it's technically second, but he steals that from
that
December 4th.
Yeah.
Jay-Z did sign J. Cole, so it makes a lot of sense. So that's like, he literally shouted out the Black Album for that reason. Makes that, it's like everybody's doing that.
The influence is there, yeah.
I'm just going to get into it now, actually, because I wanted to wait, but we're like talking perfectly here. I don't think people understand how big of a deal Change Clothes was. Like,
oh, you mean like as far as big of a hit?
Well, no, for what it means, what it did for just everything around it, like the culture and everything. So this was one of my favorite things I looked at. I hope you're ready for this. I don't know if you ever heard this. So like the reason I'm wearing a backwards jersey right now is this shouts out to Jay-Z because all in the 90s he used to do those baggy clothes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The whole song, I mean, he's also talking to like how he likes women like switching up and like having some like beautiful clothes on and stuff. But the main reason that he makes this song, and he even says this in an Unplugged MTV interview, he literally talks about how he did this song because it was finally time for him to move on and start dressing super nice. That's why we see Jay-Z now ditch all these things. And he's always dripped out. Like when you hear it with the Justin Timberlake song, like on oh my god, I forget right now. I'm off the top of the head. But
suit and tie.
Yeah. So he's on suit and tie now. Like he's always dripped out, always looking good. So that was what this whole song was about. And so here's the cool part: David Stern, us NBA fans, David Stern was so mad about him changing this whole thing that he literally Jay-Z is responsible for the NBA jersey sales going down. No, not even the sales of jerseys went down like 50% because of this man. And David Stern literally called up Jay-Z and was asking him like, "Please wear him again because I need you're helping the NBA out."
Because you're such a big influence on the culture.
Yeah, because you had Nelly wearing, you had all these people like huge as the DMX, all these people, 50 Cent, everybody that you could think of was wearing jerseys and doing this.
I did not know that.
That's what I was shook when because that's why it's such a big deal and why it's such a great because the song. Because I figured, like, stop me here if I'm wrong. I thought this was one of those songs for you. It was kind of like a 21 Questions for, like, 50 Cent. Like, it's one of those ones. A little too slow for you, maybe?
Yeah.
Because, like, I figured. Because I was there, but I was like, I couldn't wait to bring it up because it was so much bigger deal than just the song. So, like, this was him trying to get everybody around him to start dressing up better, start being a little more, like out here professional and everything. So it literally dropped NBA sales, dude. David Stern called up Jay-Z and was like, I need you to start wearing jerseys again.
You talk about, like, think of the name of the song, because anytime I think of that song, I think it's okay. Just had a one night stand, like
100%.
All right, see ya.
That's what you think. That's what you think it is, but it's
like,
literally.
But it actually says change clothes, which couldn't be more on the nose. Like that is the order. Like you need to change the way you dress.
100%, because it's like, hey, we're bigger than. Just the average, like.
So this isn't like a theory. This is like.
This 100%. Okay. Like literally, there's it's called Unplugged. There was a whole Jay-Z had a whole like broke that his whole album down, like what all these songs meant. Like I have them all down, like what they mean and everything. And that was his big thing. He literally says like, David Stern called me, said that the sales went crazy down, and he like literally begged me to get my jersey like my style back because the jersey sales went down that much in the NBA.
It is definitely one of those things now that, especially the younger generations, like if you look at what rappers wore, and even basketball. There's that old saying like, the rappers want to be basketball players, the basketball players want to be rappers.
This is what starts it, dude. Like this is literally the rookie year of LeBron James. Do you not remember him always wearing dressing baggy ass clothes?
So LeBron,
Corey Maggette was huge at this time. New York.
LeBron plays his first game ever 2 weeks before this album's dropped.
Yeah, maybe 3. But he was huge in the summer league. But yeah,
talk about putting things in perspective, like
mind blowing. You can put this up literally. Wow. When you talk about LeBron's career, you can just always measure it by the Black Album. So I thought that was really
cool. And LeBron would do like The Rock
would always do it.
Because he was a big Jay-Z fan. And then, it was like, well, some people like, oh, he's making an A for Akron. But it's like, nah, I'm pretty sure he's doing The Rock for...
Yeah. Oh,
for
talk about
records.
The Illuminati, too. Like, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Jay-Z's the reason for that. Like, but
that's a whole different podcast
that would be a cool one to get into, actually. Because I mean, because after him talking about what Lucifer meant, like, it's really cool that he, like...
He sold his soul for all his skills and money.
Yeah, I think it's because the way he talks about it though is like it's not that it's all inside. Like I don't know because he's really vulnerable on this album, but he's growing up. It's cool to see the growth. But yeah, let's get into our awards, dude. Because I'm sitting here thinking like,
ready?
There's all these things. So you're the guest. I'll let you pick the first one. Clearly, if we're gonna probably be smart here, I always like leaving the most relistenable and the probably like the Andre 3K for last.
Okay.
So I like talking about the lyrics last. But anyway, you can pick anyone you want.
Me to go first. Okay. And we're getting no Scottie Pippen because there wasn't a whole lot of features, right?
If we're gonna
by honestly, default, it kind of has to be Pharrell.
It has to be. Like because if you pick Charlotte Gibson, I'm no.
Okay.
I'll yell at you right now. Cedric the Entertainer, no. I mean, you can maybe pick either Just Blaze because he's on here twice for producing, Pharrell for producing.
Kanye's on there twice, and he actually
has
some vocals.
Real quick before we go into awards, so before even finding out who produced each song, so this one, dude, I don't like. Did you know which one Eminem produced just off the list?
I could tell, but it was one of those things. Like when it first came out, I knew that was the song he produced. But then I kind of forgot about it. But then when you go back and actually listen to and you focus more on the beat than you do the words, you're like, okay, yeah, I hear Eminem.
Dude, that was first listen, I'm like, this is an Eminem song. 100% Eminem song. Like Moment of Clarity, that's one he produces.
Yeah.
I'm like, 100% Eminem. And like, because dude, that's an Eminem beat for sure.
Yeah.
Like, and not to be mean here either. Moment of Clarity is a decent song, but I mean, it's just him like. Because I don't know if this is going to win an award, so I guess we can bring it up. It's literally just Jay-Z looking back on his like life, career, and everything, and just reminiscing basically. And he had like literally like having a moment of clarity. But I would have loved to hear what Eminem did with that beat. Good God. So, but yeah, that was the one thing that I thought it was really cool how I could actually hear through the producer like who it was. Like I could tell. Like I don't know how I could describe it, but
yeah.
Because like I could tell like Rick Rubin with the 99 Problems because Rick Rubin like I have a really cool thing about 99 Problems whenever that comes up. But like Rick Rubin's just such a talented fucking producer.
Yeah.
He's the man. He's the man. So shouts out to the white guy too, the white producer. Shouts out. So, but all right.
Who was it Scott Storch that had the big run?
Yeah, with Fat Joe and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. He wasn't bad though. He
had some good stuff.
He's actually the one.
He's in this ballpark, right? Like
he's actually Scott's. I'm pretty sure isn't he the one that did with Dr. Dre did Still Dre? I'm pretty sure they made it. I'm pretty sure they made it together. So yeah, that's a cool thing too. But
okay, before we get into this, just a quick question I have. I want to know your opinion.
Oh yeah,
because I definitely think that there's been a lot of artists that have fallen victim to this when it comes to making an album. Is this album overproduced?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like,
because it's almost everywhere.
To where it doesn't like, it's almost like 14 individual songs.
It is 100%. I think that's what he was going for, though. Because I think he wanted everybody to get. That's literally like something he talked about too. He wanted everybody that he loves that produced things for him. He wanted them to all get their own chance, and like it was like a farewell. So like
it's his victory lap.
It is his victory lap. And that was. I think that's why I'm not shocked now that it didn't, it wasn't as big as I thought it would be because it's not like it's all the rest of it, like Hard Knock Life and all these, like every freaking album you can ever think of, the Blueprint 2, like even the third one, all these that he has, they're always like, it's like a certain like message he's getting across. This one is more like, hey, I'm just having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell how much fun he had on this and just kind of took all the pressure off himself.
I mean, or maybe I kind of answered my own question earlier about like, was it a publicity stunt, the whole entire retirement thing? Or is this like, hey, these are like my bucket list guys I want on an album to produce songs for me. Now, I know it wasn't the first time he collaborated with a lot of these guys, but Do you think that was an element of it too?
Dude, I think after listening to it, I really think that he meant this to be his last album. I really do, because his last song, my first song, is literally.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
We'll get into it, but because that's one of the greatest like enders to have. Like if that, like I'm not kidding. Here's actually we'll talk about it now before we get into the awards. Do you wish that this was his last album, other than Watch the Throne? Because I mean, Watch the Throne was phenomenal. Yeah, but like literally, dude, he goes on. He takes a 3-year break, and he comes out with what was it? 06, I think he came out with
Kingdom Come.
Oh, I got Kingdom Come.
That was 07 American. That was disappointing.
07 American Gangster. Which, I mean,
I liked it.
It wasn't bad, but it's not Jay-Z's
I liked it.
09, The Blueprint 3, which had a shit ton of fucking.
That was probably his best mainstream album. Like as far as
still didn't outsell freaking this one. So the Black Album, which was shocking because it had such a big
But somewhere in there too, I think you got to take into account the digital stuff, like physical album sales dropped.
That is true. 09, I guess, still was
like
stuff. It was tough.
Run This Town. What else?
He did have some classic ones on there.
There were some really big,
New York State of Mind was on there.
Like big top 40 type songs.
He had some big ones. Literally.
Yeah.
Was it?
Kid Cudi was on there too.
Very young. J. Cole was on it. Kanye was on it with Hate, I think.
Yeah. I think Star Is Born.
Yeah.
That was a good
There was some phenomenal. I'm guessing I'm mad at that one, but like Watch the Throne, phenomenal one. But that's a collab with Kanye. Yeah. But Magna Carta, Holy Grail. Other than I
was a couple.
Didn't like it at all. I mean, other than the Justin Timberlake song, it still like wasn't even like Holy Grail was literally the song. And 444 or 444 whatever, terrible.
I'd say like between probably like his last 3 albums, not counting Watch the Throne, I could probably cherry pick enough songs to equal the Black Album. Does that make sense?
100%.
Like fair? That's fair,
100%. Right? Because I mean, technically, the next year it comes out in 04 comes out with Unfinished Business with R. Kelly, which I never listened to, by the way. I don't think I have. And I bet you he regrets that now because R. Kelly's such a fucking scary whatever. Collision Course was good with Linkin Park, but it's not like he made music for that. It was literally from these.
No, they did a tremendous job of mixing and blending the songs together.
But I think you could easily get rid of Kingdom Come and not even. I think you can get rid of American Gangster too and put some of those songs on. Like if 2 or 3 of them were on the Blueprint 3, I don't think I'm mad at that. You take a whole like 6 years off and then comes out the Blueprint 3 and then comes out with Watch the Throne. I would not be mad at that at all.
So to answer your question, if my first song was like his last solo song.
Yeah.
Like
the last thing
pop
you hear.
On a feature
last thing you hear. Yeah.
You know? No. Not a bad.
That would have been probably the greatest thing for his
Now that's a podcast in itself right there. Is best last solo album songs released.
Oh, that's a Relistenable like extra right there that I think
that's a deep dive. That's a deep dive
right there.
Like I'm talking like the last track, not like last.
Oh, I know.
Not like last single.
No, I know. Because I have one off
the top. Ideas there.
Okay. Because I know we can't even like.
We don't want to step on another one's.
Well, I know, but I can't even compare Jay-Z to Mac Miller. But Mac Miller's "So It Goes" on his last "Swimming" was his last song that he got to come out with before he died. Like, cause I know he comes out with circles, but like still, it's not this album. But that's one of the greatest like last songs out there. That it would be on there. So I'm just letting you know.
That's probably that would be like a special edition.
But yeah, I think I'm not gonna lie to you though. Just to answer my question, I guess too. I think I'd get rid of all those albums. Blueprint 3 was good, but Watch the Throne, like I don't consider his solo album, so I'm not mad at him at all for making that. But I think if I would get rid of all those albums just to hear my first song as his last song. I think it would just be. But again. It's one of those, like, it's easy to say from afar. Somebody that's not you. Because, like, if it's me, I would always love to keep doing things.
Oh, it's kind of like they could have stopped after they made that sequel. You know, like, did they really need to make that movie? 100%. Like, we were good after the last one.
But maybe he needed to, personally, to get through whatever he was going through. So, yeah, I'm not mad at it, trust me. I'm not saying you're bitching. But it would have been a cool thing to see. It would have been, like, kind of like a... literally kind of not to bring MMA in, but it would have been like a George St. Pierre, like Habib type moment where you go off on top and it's not you didn't go off losing. Like it's like if Jay-Z was a punch drunk rapper or a like punch drunk boxer like a Mike Tyson or whatever.
Yeah.
Those last couple albums are like watching Mike Tyson get knocked out. His last
it's tough to
and
watch.
Kind of forced to be retired instead of going out on top with the Black Album as like somebody that's like, yeah, I'm still in my prime, but fuck it, I put it all behind me.
How many people? It's going out on your own terms, right? They say only the true greats get to go out on their own terms.
100%. 100%.
Like Michael Jordan. Why did you come back after '98? He came back because he loved the game so much. He felt like he could still go out there and compete. It's just too much.
He did, but it was
just too much of a competitor. And it's funny because Jay-Z's made a lot of parallels in his music to Michael Jordan and how he's come back.
Yeah, and even Michael Jackson too. He's like giving himself that credit.
Right.
Like we can go on that shit for days. People that went off on top, but yeah, I think it would have been cool. But
so you want to get into the awards?
Yeah, let's look.
All right. So you still want me to do the first one?
Yeah, of course.
What about the J-Lo award?
Jennifer Lopez.
What song aged the best?
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, 2000. We'll go off this rate. 2003, this album drops. This album's hot. J-Lo's hot. At whatever her age is, 03, but now she's 50. This album's 20 years old for an album that's 80 years and dog years. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like the album's still hot, the song's still hot. Like it's J-Lo. It only gets better with age. So yeah, what did you go with?
So I went with 99 Problems.
Wow, I love that.
I just that song, like while it's not a song that I can say, just because it kind of like you said with the PSA, I've heard it so many times, and that's generally how I fall with a lot of songs that are the singles. If you hear them on the radio and you hear them so much, it's not like most of the time I'm going to skip past it, but I still think what he's saying in that song and just the overall bravado he has in that song, I think it's aged well.
All right, so I think it's time that I bring up what I found out about this song.
Let's hear it.
So this is pretty funny as well. This is, you know how I was just saying how it's funny how we like Kanye comes in, John Legend comes in, like we did the Black Album. So this is really funny, the timing of this. None other than Chris Rock, who's just got slapped up by Will Smith, is like everywhere right now.
Yep.
He's actually the one that went to Rick Rubin and was like, hey, you need to get Jay-Z to do a little like, because he really liked the song from Ice-T, 99 Problems. And that was one of his biggest songs, but he didn't really get heard that much because nobody likes Ice-T, I guess. Not to be mean, unless you're like, what show is he on? If you're like, whatever, like the CSI, whatever the hell he's on.
Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order. Unless you like him
something.
Yeah, our mom's know him from there, but like Ice-T, other than his one hit. But Chris Rock told him to make like a nice little like thing to that from the 99 Problems book, which he ends up doing. But then it has nothing to do with women. Literally, this entire time, this song has nothing to do with women, and you hear it in the second verse when he brings up his time getting pulled over by a cop, and the cop's trying to just get into his car and everything, and he's hitting him with the truth. He's talking about a bitch, which is a female dog, which is a cop dog. Yeah. And he's talking about how he has 99 problems going on in this world, but a cop dog isn't one of them because he knows his rights and everything, in which he spits fucking facts. And it's literally, I looked up a lawyer.
Rights, you're gonna need a lawyer for that.
Lawyer actually, like one of the well-known lawyers broke down that, like went on like a 50-minute like basically a podcast back in the day, but it was early 2000s, so it wasn't really, but it was a video about him breaking down what Jay-Z's talking about and how it's actually like would hold up in court and everything. He would have got himself out of everything, and like how he had the glove box locked, and you'd have to come like get a warrant for that. And I thought that was really fucking dope because I didn't realize that at all. I was like, the entire time you think it's literally about a woman. You think it's about a girl problem.
It's about a female.
And it's about cops. Yeah, and I thought that was so cool because I didn't know that this entire time. All these years. And he even fucking says it in the second verse. But that shows how, like, you don't listen. And, like, yeah, it definitely does have, like, a double entendre where it does talk about women, too. But he wrote this song, and he even talks about it in that Encore that I was telling you about, how it literally was for a cop dog.
So, again, kind of like with the Change Clothes song, it's, like, way on the nose.
Yeah, it's way deeper than what you think it is, for real. And so like, okay, so this is the other one.
He's kind of ahead of his time too, with like talking about getting pulled over, illegally searched. Like, obviously, we've seen all the things that have happened, you know, tragically in our world when it comes to that, police brutality and police abusing their power with African Americans the last 5, 6 years. I mean, not just the last 5 or 6 years, but especially become more prevalent. And with everyone with cell phones now, so he's definitely ahead of his time on that one.
Yeah, and actually, the other cool thing I found out about this too is this music video. It was the last music video he shot. Technically, it would have been his last music video he shot for his career. Yeah. And at the very end of it, he gets shot and killed, and it's mirroring that his career's over. But the MTV took it off, yanked it off, and it wasn't allowed playing because he got killed at the end of it. Phenomenal shit in 99 Pounds. Like, it's one of the most. It's one of the biggest Jay-Z songs of all time. I think it's 3 times platinum. Yeah. It's literally one of the only songs on this album that even gets certified at all, shockingly. But it's one of the biggest Jay-Z songs ever, and it's completely different than what you think it is. And if it isn't for Chris Rock talking to Rick Rubin, the song isn't a song.
And it's probably ranks very high on like if you ask a 55-year-old white person, name a Jay-Z song, it's probably very high on the list.
Name one of your favorite rap songs, that would come up.
Yeah, they would come up.
In the club, 99 Problems, like Gold Digger. Yeah. Like these songs, these are one of those songs, but it's so much deeper, and that's why I wanted to go with it. But I mean, for me, I just changed it up a little bit because for the J-Lo award for me, it was tough because there's a lot of songs that do sound so well, but I couldn't give it to Encore, Dirt Off Your Shoulders, or 99 Pounds because I've listened to it so many times, or Public Service Announcement. I've listened to it so many times in my life that I don't know how to explain it. It's one of the only few songs on here when we were re-listening to it, I was like, all right, I know this song so well. It's like, how many times can I listen to this song? It was kind of focusing on the other. So I had a couple written down. I had Lucifer, Allure, and Change Clothes written down.
Okay.
And I think I wanted to go with Change Clothes just because of the concept of it, but the song, it is a good song, but it's not the best. I went with Lucifer was mine. I thought it was one of because I like going with what catches my ear now, I guess, and what shocked me. Because instead of because that's why I didn't pick In the Club for Give Richard I Try. It's one of those ones. It's it is a phenomenal song, but it's I've heard it so many times, and it kind of takes away from it for me. And this is all opinionated, so that's why I went with it. So, but I'm happy you picked 99.
That's a good pick
because I wanted to go with it too because I found out new things about it. But
I didn't know that.
That's crazy. All these things that he talked about, because he has all these different meanings to these songs that I was shook on. I was like, what? I was like, I've known this song forever. And because literally everybody thinks that 99 is about a woman. Because guys go through women problems all the time. Girls go through men problems all the time. And rappers were known to call women bitches all the time.
Yep.
But it literally is so spot on. It's talking about a female dog. Isn't that fucking crazy? And so that was shocking me. So those are our J-Lo awards.
I'm learning today.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I told you. I was I'm coming in hot and heavy. I learned so much about this album. So,
you got the next one.
Let's get this one out of the way because this is a short album. It's 14 songs. So this one was tough. Jamal Crawford Award. Mm-hmm. So it's basically Six Man of the Year award because he's Mr. Six Man. Mm-hmm. But I guess now it's mainly. What's that song that isn't in your top 3, top 5? That are in your starting 5, I guess, from this album.
Yeah.
But it's that one that just pulls off what DeMarcus Cousins last night, basically. He played 15 minutes, I think he played 14 minutes, had 20 points, 22 points or something. It was ridiculous. Who's the heat check song coming in where it's hey, maybe LeBron's out, he's in foul trouble, but we got KD coming off the bench, we know he's about to go off. It's that type of thing. What's that song that if, say 99 Problems wasn't in it, Encore wasn't in it, Dirt Off Your Shoulder wasn't in it, this song comes in and takes that place kind of well. At least for the minutes. It's clearly not all year it's not going to take over, but.
So for me, it is Dirt Off Your Shoulder.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I personally, I like that. I do like that a lot, actually. Especially for what it means and everything. I think it's a dope ass song. Mm-hmm. But for me, I went with Threat. That was one of those songs that just hit me different, dude. I was just holy shit, this is such a phenomenal song. Because it's Jay-Z. Because, so here's another take I had. And I'm happy we're talking into these because I would have forgot about this if we didn't get into this. It's Jay-Z's one of those tough rappers for me where I know he does rap thuggish and everything, but I don't get a thug vibe from Jay-Z. Because he's such a smooth mover. Yeah. And I guess I'm known as him being a better dresser now, and he's got Beyonce, we were talking about. The dude's always just so nice, and he's smart as hell. I don't get that thug vibe from him like I do with DMX or Tupac, Biggie, Eddie Fitty, back in his day. Certain rappers.
Soulja Boy. I'm doing Priscilla right now.
Drake. No, I love it. I love Bruno Mars.
The Weeknd.
Literally the Weeknd. He's so thug, bro. But no.
Russillo's
on point for that.
I think they're,
but no, I really don't get that vibe from him. So this is one of those songs that give me that vibe though, where it's a little more
we talk about it. There's these tough guy rappers that act like they're about that life, and they're really not.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z, he's not pulling a gun on anyone. He doesn't have to. He's got 10 bodyguards now.
Yeah.
But if he weren't highly successful, multimillionaire, like you can take, it's like that old saying, like you can take the hustler out of the streets, but you can't take the streets out of the hustler.
100%.
Like, look at what he grew up in. He grew up on the corner slinging rocks. Like
very, very like certified crack dealer, coke dealer, whatever one you want to say it. But
you talk about it all the time, like how big your youth is on the adult you become. Like he could talk to stuff because if he had to, even though he's not in a position in his life where he would have to do this stuff.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
I think, to go into it though, I think Threat's one of like bar for bar his best work on this album, in my opinion. Like, because there are a couple like we just talked about, a couple radio hits nowadays, which I know at the time he wasn't going for a radio hit. He makes like, especially 99 Problems a radio hit. That song's so deep that we don't even get it, and so like reference on so many things. So like, it just goes to show how many people how many people don't actually like dive into the lyrics, kind of to go off the DMX thing where it's like, it's what you hear and listen. It's what you hear and listen. Like, cause you're actually, I know you're hearing the song or whatever, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. So you think it's just a nice beat, a nice hook, but it's like, so yeah, I'm happy we talked about that because.
No, that's good. That's a good one. Okay, so that was Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, we got that out of the way.
So is it my turn?
Yeah, we got J-Lo out the way.
All right. What about, let's go the Jackson 4 award.
Nitpicks.
So like nitpicking, like the song. I mean, you're probably going to be able to guess. We've done enough of these together. I will, like most of the time, I guess I'll say this much. Maybe it's like a little anti-conformist of me, but most of the time I steer clear of singles. Maybe it's because they're the ones that are most likely to be overplayed and you just kind of get tired of them.
100%.
But I do really think that a single, like one of the most popular songs off the album, has to be at a really, really elite level for it to not get worn out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just kind of how I am. So my pick here is Change Clothes, and kind of like you mentioned the 21 Questions things. Like, I can kind of sometimes do without like what you said. Now that I know what I know about the song, had I known that there was a much deeper meaning to it, maybe I don't.
And it impacted the NBA.
But it definitely kind of like checks. I feel like sometimes these producers, or not even the record labels, the higher up in the record labels, and I'm not saying this happened here, but I definitely think it happens where like they come down and like, hey, you got to check the box where you have a song that's maybe a little lighthearted, a little more for the ladies, a little more poppy.
Yeah.
And I would categorize this song as that. So that's the one
I knew it.
I can go with that.
You have any other nitpick at all? Because it's not necessarily song. It could be like it could be like maybe like a verse or a beat maybe.
I think the album could have been longer.
Oh, easily. I do think that he did come in heavy though, because I mean, because it easily could have been our whole take on oh Jesus Lord, I'm blank right now, but on the whole T.I.
versus T.I.P.
Yeah, T.I. versus T.I. Yeah, I'm blank.
What was that, like 21 songs?
We each were like, you can take 4 to 6 songs off this album and it's fire, and that maybe could have been what he did. He could have maybe made too many, because I mean, if his own team didn't like Encore and public service announcement was about to be a minute long, then that's it. Like, then I mean, there must have been a bunch of songs that nobody fucked with. Like,
so nitpick, I guess I would say I would have put out different singles. So let's rewind. It was Change Clothes was first.
Change Clothes was the first one.
Then Dirt Off Your Shoulder. And then 99
Dirt
Problems.
Off Your Shoulder and then 99 Problems. Yeah.
Like, I think Encore should have been in there. Lucifer could have been on there. Lucifer could have been in there.
Allure.
I don't know if we want to get into this yet. No, we'll get there.
What more can I say?
I love that song too. Yeah, but again, I think sometimes these decisions are maybe out of the artist's hands.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's what.
Because
there's not even in his.
There's a proven like algorithm out there that shows like what songs are more likely to be hits, and it's usually the ones that are a little more broader, maybe a little less real, maybe a little less violent, So,
all right. So, do you have any more before I go crazy?
Nope. Go ahead.
So I agree with you on the Change Clothes one, but it's not because. First of all, you can't change that song for what it literally impacted the NBA and shit. After reading that, I'm like, holy
Yeah.
But it was a huge hit, though, when it was released
yeah.
in '03, which was crazy. But the reason that I don't like it that much is because I'm the biggest fan of Pharrell when he mixes up with rappers. Like, he's got a great song. He's got a couple great songs with Snoop Dogg. And then Frontin' and Excuse Me Miss with him and Jay-Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I listen to those every single day, basically. Like, those are phenomenal. So this song gets nowhere close to Front or Excuse Me Miss. Because, like, Excuse Me Misses.
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah. That's one of the greatest songs ever. That's when you can tell how Jay-Z got Beyonce. Yeah. Smooth mover. Pimp out here. Like, do it was quick. But this isn't on the album, so I don't want to get crazy into it. But I thought that was 100%. I didn't like how that was the lead single. That was my other thing. I had a couple. I didn't think Moment of Clarity, I didn't think it sounded that good with the Eminem beat, even though the Eminem beat was hard, but I think it would have been way better as an Eminem song. Okay. So I don't want to hate on it, though, because it is a good song still. Like I said, Justify My Thug, I wasn't a big fan of Charlotte Gibson. I didn't think she sounded that good. Honestly, I can't sing at all. If you hear me in the shower, you think I can. Or I think I can, I should say. But I can't at all. I'm terrible. I have no pitch, no nothing. And I shouldn't be sitting here talking about anybody singing, but that was terrible in my opinion. It was just an awful. And I'm getting so comfortable talking shit about these features now. I'm getting too good at it. Like John Legend, the last one, not to even bring that one up. It's just cool to bring these up. Snoop Dogg had a feature on there. The worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I think you and I could have wrote a better version. Yeah. That's not even a joke. Not even a joke. Because I was like, what are you doing? And then Lauryn Hill, who's phenomenal. Lauryn Hill's one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. But she tried to rap on one of these remixes. I'm like, what the fuck? Stick to singing, woman. Yeah. So I'm quick to let them know, hey, just because you're a good name out there and stuff, but Charlotte Gibson, no offense to her. I just thought how I would have kept her off of it, and I might have actually brought in the Madonna cover or whatever. Okay. But honestly, that song, Justify My Thug, honestly could have been off the album for me. But after I heard that it was off Justify My Love, that whole thing, I was like, all right, okay, I could hear it a little bit. Because Jay-Z goes hard. Don't get me wrong. I love Jay-Z, but I just thought Charlotte Gibson was so tough to listen to. The next time you listen to it, really give her.
You couldn't get past her.
No, it was terrible. His parts were amazing. Don't get me wrong.
So you could have gone without the song altogether.
No, I think I would have went without her altogether and just let him do his thing, and then maybe even had Pharrell sing Justify My Thug.
See, this is why I love that we do this, because you said if it wasn't on the album, it wouldn't have affected.
I don't think it would have, but I think he did have
your overall.
He had some good, not for me. I think I still would have loved the album just as much.
My favorite song on the album.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh my! I feel terrible. I feel terrible saying your shit. But I think she sucks. He's amazing.
The best part about it.
Or she sucks. I almost said he sucks.
Now I'm gonna go back and listen to it. Maybe it'll change my tune. But what he says in that song, his lyrics in that song, that's why I love that song.
I love the production by DJ Quick. He's that man. I love DJ Quick. He's on a bunch of game albums.
You do not have to feel bad.
I feel bad because he did phenomenal. I just feel bad because Charlotte Gibson is terrible on that song.
See, now I gotta go back and listen to it.
But that's the other reason it won me over is because it was one take. It was it was a freestyle. That's why it was cool. And then, like I said, maybe just the Moment of Clarity. It was a good song. I just didn't like how the beat, I guess, didn't sound the greatest with it. But I do like how he because they sample "My Balls and My Word" by Scarface as an '83 hit, and he says that on that song. It's all I got is my balls, my word. I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool. But other than that, I honestly think that might have been the only nitpicks I had.
I love. This is why I like that we do this, because we both love this album.
Just share some of your favorites.
Or else we wouldn't be sitting here. But no, it's great because the two songs that you said that you weren't as big of a fan of, Justify My Thug and Moment of Clarity, are my probably 1 and 2 favorite songs on this album.
Do you ever hear...
That's kind of the beautiful thing about music, though, and interpreting art, which is what this is.
Do you ever hear... it was real big back in the day when YouTube first started. Did you ever hear when people would take the verse and put it on another rapper's song or another artist's song and it would sound even better? Yeah. I think Moment of Clarity would sound way better on a different beat. That's all I'm saying. Because everything he says is phenomenal. I love it. It's just I think it and this is me really diving into music now. I'm really getting every little thing.
Could you not detach Eminem from it?
I think it might have been my biggest thing. Because when it first played, because I do this the way that I go about this, because I'll listen to this album 20 times before about to break it down, because I want to make sure I've given it its due.
Yeah.
But I'll go first take. I won't look up notes, nothing. I like listening to the album. First time I listen to lyrics. Second time I listen to beats. Third time is when I start getting the notes out and learn things of it, and then see who produces it, and then I'll dive. As soon as I heard that beat, I'm like, Eminem produced this song, and if he didn't, somebody who produced Eminem songs produced this, and then it was no shock when I found out it was Eminem. It was weird. So but I think Moment of Clarity would have been so much better on a different beat. And like I said, I think Justify My Thug would have been even better of a song if he had even if he let John Legend sing it. Can you imagine that? That'd have been phenomenal because she just doesn't pitch very well. Next time you listen to it, because we can't play it right now, because I'd have you play her version, or her little hook. Okay. Just next time you listen to it, you're gonna be like, all right, maybe Steven's onto something with that one. But those are my only nitpicks. And then we have and that's the other thing. The Jackson 4, to give it a better description, is if this album is Michael Jackson, you can't take Michael Jackson out the way because the other 4, Jackson 5, aren't gonna do shit. If Jackson 4 aren't gonna have a career. Not to be mean. It's literally proven they didn't have a career. And
I was a big Janet Jackson fan.
There for a little bit. I definitely wasn't mad at her. But
I think what killed her for looks, and I was
not to go into it too much. I think what killed her is that she worked with Jermaine Dupri too much, and fuck Jermaine Dupri, he's fucking terrible. So yeah, fuck you, Jermaine Dupri. But anyway. But if you take Michael Jackson away from the Jackson 5, he's still the greatest of all time. So this kind of that thing. So that's the Jackson 4 you can do without, and that's your nitpicks kind of stuff.
Okay.
And we kind of have to. That's the terrible thing about this because there's some albums it's so hard to give a nitpick. So, but I knew Change Clothes was going to be on there for you because it was one of mine too, but only because Front and Excuse Me Miss were so good.
Okay.
So, all right. So after
what do you got next?
Let's go. Oh, this one's fun. This one's real fun. Let's go to the Jamie Foxx award for this one. So that's most versatile song. No matter what mood you're in, you can jam to it. Jamie Foxx started as comedian, actor, goes into singing, can be on any award show. He can host. You know what I'm saying? He's literally everywhere. We talk about this all the time. We've done it so many times. It's no matter what mood you're in, Jamie Foxx is going to somehow, there's something out there, Jamie Foxx, that's going to have you good. If you're in a laughing mood, he's in some comedies that are good. He's a very good comedian back in the day. His impersonations are hilarious. If you want to listen to some sad music, the man's got a beautiful voice that let you get kind of sad. If you're in the sports mode, man's on First Take arguing with Stephen A. He's literally at every game, freaking talks. So he's a very talented guy. He's everywhere. So for me, to give you a kind of where I was going with it, so December 4th, I thought was really dope because it had a mix of his mom kind of getting sentimental on you. It has him being very, very, very vulnerable and open and just giving you a whole rundown of who this man is and why he is who he is. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of tell that he is looking back on his career and he's saying goodbye to it in a way because he would never say this in any other album. And then Allure, I thought was another one that could be because it's such a soft beat and everything that Pharrell the Neptunes made, like I said. But then he comes on, just goes fucking ham. So I picked December 4th just because of how iconic it was. And I thought it was pretty funny too, because you kind of hear that, I don't know the technical song, but the graduation song, the walking song that everybody walks out to, it's playing in the background. Mm-hmm. It's it's literally it's his graduation from rap, basically. At this time, it's supposed to be his goodbye. So I thought that part for me was no matter what. And then the other one that I thought of was My First Song. I thought that was phenomenal as well. Just the love that he had for it and everything. But it didn't, I don't know. I think that one's so upbeat for me that I think even if I'm in a let's get the shit mood, I wouldn't be able to as much as I am when I hear on December 4th when he's talking about why he is who he is, how he how his dad and everything impacted him so much. It was just so big for me in that way. So that's why I picked December 4th.
This was a tough one for me.
It's a tough album to pick.
My gut says, what more can I say? Just because I love that intro so much. And it is definitely it's so perfect for what he was doing with the song. I almost feel like he grabbed that clip first. And he's I'm going to write a song. Are you not entertained? What more can I do?
Yeah.
I love that. Just the bravado of that song. And just you can tell how confident he is in his abilities. I think I'm going to go public service announcement.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That little beat, boom, 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 at the beginning, and like you said, it's a quick song. It's an easy listen. So
And the fact that it was the last song he added, literally the last song that he did anything to, because they felt like they just needed that little like commercial break in the album.
Yeah.
And turns out to be like he just said, "Fuck it, put me in the booth real quick," and just adds a bunch to it. So
it's called an I mean, so many times an interlude's one of the most popular songs on the album.
100%. So, and like I do think it really is nostalgic for me, that song, because every time I listen to it, I'm like, okay, we're about to get ready and ball on 2K.
Yeah.
We're about to spend all night playing this game, and I'm gonna hear it. So yeah, I think that's a great pick. Not gonna lie to you.
Okay, it's my turn.
Yep.
All right. Let's go with the Dr. Dre Award for best beat.
I knew it. This one was hard, in my opinion.
Want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 3 written down.
I had 2. My honorable mention is "Dirt Off Your Shoulder."
Okay.
Timbaland. He's got a very distinct sound.
Yep.
And like you go back and listen to it, and then you think of who's producing it, kind of like you said with Eminem. It is kind of tough to separate the producer from the actual song. But so that was my honorable mention. Love that beat. But again, I mean, I'm favorite rapper of all time is Eminem. It's Moment of Clarity for me. I love that beat. I love the way it builds up at the beginning. But again, like you kind of said, like I think your nitpick is kind of right that it does have like Eminem's got some deep stuff. Like it's heavy.
Yeah.
He's not about to get on here and rap about all the cars he has, or something like that. It's going to be some heavy stuff. So my Dr. Award goes to Moment of Clarity.
All right, I love that. I really do. I had one of them written down was Lucifer. I really like what Kanye did with that because he samples I think it was "You're Nobody" by Notorious B.I.G., which I thought was phenomenal. I really liked that on there. I had "Threat" written down, produced by Ninth Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what wins it for me is, and it's kind of simple, but at the same time, I went with "What More Can I Say," which is produced by the Buchanans. And it's just because that.
Oh yeah.
And then it just. Oh my God. I don't know what it is. It just gets me so. Just somewhere in my heart where it's just like that's a beat.
Is "What More Can I Say" the one where he goes a cappella at the end?
Yeah.
And
speaking of that,
actually hear him drop the mic.
Jay-Z is one of the more like gifted a cappella rapper. He is not afraid to just go hard for a solid 40 seconds off the beat. Like just fuck it, who's going in? Because I last longer than the beat.
I ain't animated like I say a bust of rhymes with the real shit you get when you bust out my lines. Add that to the fact I went plat a bunch of times. Yeah, it's all a cappella.
I honestly too. I think it's like how he did because he adds a little bit of bass there to the intro for Gladiator. I think because he does add a little bit bass to it because you hear it in your car where it's like, "Well, you're not entertained." You can kind of hear it like rumbling, kind of like you have like sound effects going on in like the house, like the surround sound. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't. I think it's just so perfect.
That is a very well produced song.
And it's sampled by Something for Nothing by MFSB, which is a 1973 song. So I do like to shout out the samples, but if I sat here and wrote them all down, or like I do write them all down, but if I said them all, we would spend hours and it'd be really boring. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of these beats, to be honest.
No.
I don't think you could pick
Yeah, see, now I want to change mine.
For Dr. Dre, what?
I want to change it to "What More Can I Say." Maybe not so much of the beats to me, but that's just such a well-produced song.
I think the only songs you can't pick, in my personal opinion, is "December 4th" and "Allure" because they're a little slower, and it's not a Dr. Dre class. You know what I'm saying? When I think of Dr. Dre, I think of like one that hits for me. That's like okay, but I think it's the mix between how well it's produced and how well the beat goes. I don't know. I just love that's why I went with "What More Can I Say." All right, now let's get this one out of the way. This is the newest one, and this one's a little tough for me for this album. It's usually pretty easy, but this one it's just the Back to the Future award. So This is the one that was kind of described to you last night. So out of all the songs on the album, someone comes to a portal right in your room right now. Mm-hmm. They say, in a non-creepy way, because that's gonna be pretty creepy. But say like you're like it's like an organic moment. You're like okay. And the dude's like, hey, I got 5 minutes right now, 4 minutes. I got one song from the Black Album that kind of give me the tone of it to wrap it up kind of in a way. What's that one song? Because like some albums, it's easy. But like this album, because it's not necessarily about much, it's just about his retirement album. What's the one that if I listen to it right now, it kind of wraps it up, and it's like he got the gist of it. Like clearly, he's got to listen to all of them because this one's produced by so many different people. So, like for me, just to kind of give you some like examples for what I was thinking, December 4th kind of gives you like a whole like just a whole vibe of like what he's thinking. My first song I thought was really really good. Encore could maybe even be in there, and then it's like 99 Problems is its own thing. Dirt Off Your Shoulders kind of its own thing.
Yep.
Maybe A Moment of Clarity could honestly even be one of them. I went with my first song because I fucking love that song, dude. I just think like it's literally talking about how he just treats everything like his first time ever. Like you can never get complacent in life, which he ends up being. I mean, it's hard not to when you're so successful, but it's just like it's just showing the same focus no matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what part of your career you're in. It doesn't matter what part of life you're in. Like kind of what we were talking about last night. It's like always have that focus and just have that gratitude towards things and to treat everything like it. And it was perfectly. It was like literally placed as the last song to be basically the first song ever. It's kind of like the way he described it was I put this as the last song even though it's called my first song because I wanted it to be like
treat my first like my last.
Yes, and I wanted it to be like if somebody if it was on loop from 96 to 03, I want it to be like that. And then when you transfer back over to 96 after 03 is done, it's like that leads perfectly into it. So that's why I picked it because I just thought it was real cool. It shows the love that he has. It has Biggie in the beginning and as one of his interviews from like 96, like MTV award or whatever. I don't know. I just thought it was really fucking dope. That was my pick. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be I'm gonna be anticlimactic here and agree with you. It's my first song because
which is understandable.
If someone comes through and says, "Yeah, like what's the song that kind of embodies this album?"
Yeah,
like if you would play one and you think of the context of, "Hey, this is his retirement album," which at the time it was.
It was supposed to be. Yep.
It was supposed to be. It has to be that song.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's why. Yeah, literally why I picked it. So
yeah, no,
I thought it was kind of easy for this one, but
I forgot to say something going back to the Dr. Dre award. You mentioned this last night, and I don't want to step on your toes here, but that you kind of feel like maybe Jay-Z doesn't get all of Kanye's prime cuts.
I said it about Pusha T technically.
Oh, is that who you're talking about?
But okay. I think everybody, like literally everybody that he produces for, like Cudi, like all these people, unless he's like on it, because what he did with Watch the Throne.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! And like Jay-Z, no offense to Jay-Z, he's gonna be written down as some like because we're gonna do that album. I'm letting you know now. He's gonna probably be credited as producer, but he was not. Jay-Z doesn't have that produce skill, like the production skill. What Kanye did with Watch the Throne, he gave him those grade A beats because it's like, hey, I'm on here. But I always think that I'm happy you bring it up because I think Jay-Z even gets kind of like the half-assed ones where it's like, oh yeah, because like at this time by 03, because Kanye's coming out next year with his first album, like by that time, like he's gonna be.
You think Kanye's got a couple stash in his back?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think by this time he knows he's about to start his career, and especially with this album, like he did with it. So I agree. I really think that there's because he does 2 songs on this. Yeah. I think he could have done better because we hear him do better. You know what I'm saying? I always think that. I always think Kanye keeps the beats for himself, and then I think he gives like the washed ones to the Pusha T's, the Tiana Taylors, the Cuddies, literally everybody he's got. Freaking, we can go on for days. Whose good music is John Legend, all of them, but Jay-Z even at the time. So yeah, I'm happy you bring that up.
Okay.
So now you get to pick it. So I guess we just got.
We got 3 more.
Yeah. So I guess. You can pick. I don't even care which one you pick.
Let's go.
We can go.
What about the Andre 3000 award?
I love it.
For best lyrics.
I want to hear yours first. I have mine written down. I have one liner, like it's like a 3-liner.
All right. So for me, it's the first verse of Justify My Thug. Death before dishonor, I'll tell you what else. I tightened my belt before I begged for help. Foolish pride is what held me together through years. I wasn't felt, which is why I never played myself. Just play the hand I'm dealt. I can't say I never knelt before God and asked for better cards at times to no avail. I never sat back feeling sorry for myself. If you don't give me heaven, I'll raise hell until it's heaven. I love that.
I do too.
You talk about like feeling like you need a little like kick in the ass or like going through a tough time or something like that, or
100%.
That song makes you want to run through a wall.
I think we could both probably put the hook down for my first song. I think that.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Even if you want to get that ready, but all right. So what I wrote down. So I got one little line. I didn't even get the whole verse because it was just my favorite part. It's from Threat.
Okay.
And he goes, and I think it's second verse.
Okay.
He goes, "Y'all wish I was frontin'. I George Bush the button for the oil in your car. Lift up your hood, play or run it. Then lift up your whole hood like you got oil under it." Which he's referencing about George Bush at this time, completely starting a war over oil, which is ridiculous. And then he goes in, "Your boy got the goods. Y'all don't want nothing of it. Like castor oil, which is I'm blanking shit. What's I'm gonna sound stupid here. What's what makes you shit all the time?
Like a
laxative. It's a laxative.
Yeah.
And it tastes terrible. He says, like castor oil, I'll castor Troy you, which is good old Nicolas Cage's name from Face Off. That's his character from Face Off. It says, change your face with bullets, change your face of the bullets, change all that for you. Like, I'm like, oh my god, the line, because I mean, it's like he's talking about oil in your car, taking that from you, but he's also talking about George Bush the button, which will start it, but he's gonna do all that to take oil from you, like it's war.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I think like no oil for blood or whatever was like a huge like thing because nobody wanted to. Because everybody knew the war was oil.
Yeah, so, and then there's a lot of people not happy.
But the castor oil, I'll castor Troy you, which is literally Nicolas Cage's name from Face Off, and it talks about he's gonna shoot your face off. Like good.
And again, like it almost now like thinking about this and looking at the way we look at it, the name of the song is Threat, and it's essentially a 4-minute threat of if you mess with Jay-Z. When we really think about it, it's like he didn't like break the mold or like do this revolutionary thing when he wrote the names for this song. Like this song's about a threat, so we'll just call it Threat. I want people to change the way they dress, so we'll change clothes.
100%.
Just really on the problem,
literally.
And then nose.
And not to be funny, but like castor oil is like one of the number one oil brands out there too. Yeah. So it's like he's the wordplay and what he's meaning, and like it has like 4 different meanings in this one like couple lines, and I'm like, good lord! Like instead of saying I'll push the button, I'll George Bush the button, like, and then goes on to talk about he's gonna steal your oil and shit. Like, good lord, I can't get over it. I thought that was like one of the best writing. You can tell he wrote that because there's no way he's going in there just one line in that or one take. Right. He did not come off that off the dome. And if he says he did, I don't believe him. Because the Castor Troy, like, cause nobody knows who Castor Troy is unless you look it up. I didn't know that his name was from Face Off, but then I looked and I'm like, holy shit. Because I was like, who's Castor Troy? I Googled it while I was listening to it. Because that line's so hard. And then, good lord, dude, just the wordplay. Yeah. Shouts out to you, Jay-Z. That was smart. That was witty. But then, I mean, and then, like we said, I think my first song's like you kind of have to put on there because it is such like a, I don't know. For me, it's one of those things like it's real big in life. So, but hell yeah. Do you have any other?
No, I'm doing that one. We got 2 more. Is it your turn?
Yeah, let's go. Let's just get this one out of the way. Maybe there's 1 or 2, so I guess it's tough. Basically, the MVP of the album. Without this album, it's not going to win a championship. So we call it the LeBron James MVP award. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we say this all the time. From 2011 to like 2018, 2019, you could have made that argument every single year that LeBron should have won MVP. Yep. But they give him the Steph Currys, James Harden, Westbrooks, Giannis. Like I think KD won 1 year. Like you got to get the names out there and get the jersey sales going. To get you got to get the NBA going. Different names. Because you don't want it to be like what Michael Jordan was back then. He had so much control over the league, which that's why he got to walk away and everything. So they don't want that to ever happen again. But just because these other people like James Harden wins the MVP but gets popped in the first round, Westbrook, averages a triple-double but barely makes 8 seed, pop first round. Like this is who goes on to win the championship. Like without this player, the true MVP, like this song, if it's not on here, like this maybe not his best-selling album of the 2000s. So for me, I think it's only 2 arguments here at all, and it's between 99 Problems and Dirt Off Your Shoulder. And I think I'm going Dirt Off Your Shoulder.
Okay.
That's just I think it's like it's such like we talked about too. It's such a dope meaning, like what he started this whole thing, wiping the dirt off your shoulder, like no matter what comes at you, no matter who's hating on you, no matter anything, like just wipe that shit off, and it turns out to be a fucking
feel
banger.
good about yourself. Yeah.
Turns out to be a banger, even though he's got so much shit, but yeah, it's just phenomenal. Produced by Timbaland, which and actually, what's really cool too, not to be funny here, I forgot to bring this up too. If you listen in the very first part, Jay-Z heard this beat before he wrote the song. He had no idea what the song was going to be. And where he got the idea of this song is if you listen to the very first 2 seconds of the song, Timbaland put a little brush sound on there. And he's like, bingo, that's what my song's going to be. It's going to be brushing the dirt off your shoulder. And then it turns it into this fucking classic. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty nuts. He hears the beat first. Here's one little brush from Timbaland. And it's like, oh, damn, there we go, dirt off your shoulder. Turns out to be one of the best songs on the album. So, yeah, I went with that one. And by the way, too, they're the only 2 songs, 99 Problems and Dirt Off Your Shoulder, are the only 2 songs that even certify anything. Yeah. And I think Dirt Off Your Shoulder is 2 times platinum and 99 Problems 3 times platinum. So technically, those are the only ones that even make gold or anything. No other song does. Not even Encore. Even Encore, which is crazy. It did with Linkin Park though. Okay. Real big, but this isn't that album. All right, so it's Encore for me. I love it. That's one I wanted to pick, but it just didn't get the commercial success that I think it should have. It should have, because he let his team talk him out of releasing it as a single, which pissed me off. But because he wanted that to be his lead single.
But I think you can say that if that song's not on this album, I think this album still does pretty well. But I think given the context of what this album was, his retirement album, he says, "Here's my victory lap and I'm leaving." Isn't that the first time he says "fade to black"? Yeah. Which has become a metaphor for retirement. Yeah. 100%. So many athletes have used that. Now I know Kobe did. I'm gonna fade to black and retire. That's why I picked it. Oh, again, if it wasn't on the album, probably still what it is. It probably still sells just as much.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. It's got to be between the 3 though. I really don't think you can have an argument. It's not Encore, Get Off Your Shoulder, or 99 Problems.
And I think you kind of said it. Encore probably had more of a life on the Linkin Park Collision course.
Yeah, I'm 100%, and that's where I'm I'm stuck on it. That's where I'm always going to go down the hill. Yeah. I'm down the hill with that one. I don't think we're talking about Encore. I mean, we are. You and I would be re-listening to this because it is we actually care about lyrics and shit. But without Linkin Park taking over this song, because that's the one that gets most played. That I looked it up on YouTube. That's Encore, the normal version, 3 million views or something. Mm-hmm. The Encore, the remix with Linkin Park's, I think, is no lie. Pretty sure it's at 100 million or something crazy. It's ridiculous how much more popular it is than.
So it was Numb and Encore.
Numb Encore, yeah. That's one of. Yeah. You can make an argument that Numb's one of the greatest Linkin Park songs, and Encore is one of the greatest Jay-Z. So. Yep. But yeah, I would not be mad at doing Collision Course. It's a real quick pod, by the way. But all right, so that comes up to our most re-listenable, our last one. This one's definitely more opinionated. Clearly, I'm never gonna argue with any of them. And to kind of give you the reason that I picked this song is I'm so big on, because you and I were talking about it. We like staying motivated. We like staying dedicated in our life. We like staying honest, not showing that gratitude like we literally just talked about last night. We don't like getting caught up in bitching about things, and just you never want to take life as granted ever. So because we're not promised tomorrow, and I think that's why this song. I think that probably makes you understand what it is already. Yeah. But my first song, I don't know what it is. It's the Love Yours of J. Cole. It's maybe not the greatest song on the album. My first song is probably not the greatest song on the album, but the meaning just hits home for me so much. And it's dude, and even for you and I, we're trying to be established in our lives, we're getting there. But you know what I'm saying? We're trying to continue to, we're not Jay-Z. We're not settled forever, but or set forever. Jay-Z isn't the rest of his family bloodline forever, but you and I, we're trying to get to those points where always being happy and shit. And that's one of those songs for me. Is never take anything as granted. Always just put everything into what you got into it. Even I was playing basketball last night. We're not as we're not as competitive anymore and everything, but still give it your all, dude. Like, you might be the last time you ever pick up a basketball. You know, like it's one of those type
and
things.
you kind of get that feeling, like listening to that song, that like he recognized that hey, this all could have never happened.
And that's why I don't think it was a publicity stunt. In complete honesty with you.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was. Maybe he knew he was going to come out with another album, but I think his full time rapping, where he comes out with an album every single year for 8 years, I knew. Like you can tell that that's what's done. Like him being full time rapper, it was done after this. And I still think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, even after him having 4 more albums, 5 more albums, like, it's still, it's like he takes so many years off. And, like, if it wasn't for him and Beyonce's little cheating scandal or whatever, 444 would have never came out. And, like, whatever they did together, they had a little, like, collab album, like, 2019. Yeah. So, like, yeah, that's why I really love that song. It just always keeps me just grounded. So,
it's a good one. That's a good one. It's Justify My Thug for me.
Say, you kind of already said it, but
it's Justify My Thug for me. Which I love that we're on 2 different ends of the spectrum as far as our opinions on that song. But that's the beautiful thing about music, and that's the beautiful thing about art, is that, you know, one person can look at it and be like, that's a piece of shit. Next person look at it and be like, that's transcendent to me. You know, I might be being a little dramatic.
No, you're being serious.
I don't think the song's transcendent, but it's like I said, it's one of those songs that's been on my go-to playlist for probably coming up on 20 years now. Just because maybe I focus too much on the lyrical side of things, and maybe I do need to go back and listen to the
it's like Crank That Soldier Boy.
Yeah,
it's a timeless song.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. That's hilarious, dude.
But yeah, that would be my answer. Yeah, it's not definitely. I would say one of the toughest albums I've had to pick that one up.
Oh, I 100% agree. Usually you kind of have like that one that you already know, like in the back of your head, like
there like a lot of albums you have like your 3, 4 songs are like on the A tier, and then you got like maybe 3 or 4 there in the B tier, and then you got 3 or 4 there on the C tier, and then a couple like D. This album's like full of B pluses and A minuses for me.
100%.
There's not many that.
Well, yeah, because like to go into it, just like kind of like to give the award, like for John Legend's Get Lifted, which is his first album, Ordinary People, easily the answer. It's the best song he's ever came out, probably to this day.
Yeah.
You know, and like Late Registration, there's so many that were great, but like at the end of the day, I kind of already knew that like it was going to be Heard Him Say or Diamonds remix, which ended up being Diamonds, like, which because of Jay-Z, not to even be funny.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with, you know, a single that gets the radio play that actually still holds up. You don't ever get tired of hearing.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So, dude, I fucking appreciate you for coming on again.
That was fun.
Thanks for having us. That was all everything in the background.
No, I figured this was better than like the last time.
I
got this like picture of rocks and
you ain't lying.
A little more fitting for what
you have anything at all to say before to wrap up this album that we maybe not talking about?
If maybe not this album so much, but if Jay-Z never releases another solo album again, I don't think it hurts his career at all. And I don't think he needs to release another multi-platinum album to cement his legacy. Like, all right. It was cemented after this.
I think that I personally wish he would have never came out with another album other than Watch the Throne. Perfectly happy. And Encore cool. I'm not mad at that, but he didn't like technically.
Right.
He just kind of like gave him the.
It wasn't new music.
So yeah, but I think he would have been certified more respected. I think within the streets and stuff. Still, I really think he took a hit, and for the Blueprint 3 with like the Forever Young and like the New York State of Mind, mm-hmm. like he went full radio hit. He wanted like just the hits. He didn't really stick to his like rapping. If I'm being honest, because I'll have to re-listen to it. I'm sure it's different, but like I think that was one of those to kind of get the next generation to know who he is. Because I think he was getting mad that like, you know, Kanye's getting all this love at this time.
Yeah.
Eminem's getting all this. Lil Wayne's getting all this. Like all these rap at that time, that was real big. Death of Auto-Tune was a big song on there. He was pissed at T-Pain.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Like Soulja Boy, not to bring him up again, but like he was pissed about all these like YouTube rappers coming up that weren't shit compared to him, and everybody's considering the greatest and all these because they have 100 million views on YouTube, and it's like, hold up, motherfucker.
What about what Eminem's been going through like the last 5 years?
You're lying, right? And he really shows how pissed he gets. But I think Jay-Z did a good job in not letting it known so well. And that's my other favorite take about Jay-Z as well. I love how he stays out of the media. He's so to himself. Like I bet you that man drops nothing but knowledge and keeps everybody around him so smart and everything, like so grounded. And I bet you he's like one of the greatest friends ever. But I love how he's not like the Eminem, the Kanye's, Eminem does good at not staying in the limelight, but other than when he drops music, he always like what he's saying is kind of crazy. But I don't know. But yeah, I really think that's my only take from this album. I wish this was the last album he came out with. And then Watch the Throne, clearly a collab album was phenomenal. Yeah. Not mad at that at all. But that would have been 8 years later. We'd have been completely fine with it.
Kingdom Come comes out 2006, and I mean it was a big time flop. And that was a very highly anticipated album that I don't think the Blueprint 3 is what it is. If Kingdom Come is like 90% of what the Black Album is, I think his career trajectory goes in an entirely different way. That I remember when that album came out, getting it, being so excited for it, and I was like, there's like 2.5 good songs on here.
Yeah, for real. And I even feel that way about American Gangster. Not to poop on it, but he just really loved the movie. Yeah, and he just was like, hey, I'm really motivated. I'm inspired. I want to make an album kind of about it. But at the same time, I think I just think it's funny how Blueprint 3 was so heavily featured with so many people. Like I think there was only one song he didn't have a feature on, and this album literally like you can count Pharrell the one song. The rest he's in one more at the end. Allure, he's at the end of that because he produces it, but like he's just singing background vocals, Kanye background vocals, and then like I said, Charlotte Gibson poops all over it. Oops. And then I did forget to say what more can I say? Is Vincent Humpy Bostic or whatever who sings the that part, but still no features. You know what I'm saying? No rapper comes on. So
not a whole lot of rappers that can do that anymore.
100%.
Or that would put out. I mean, there's rappers who can do it. Don't get me wrong, but can you put out a solid hour's worth of music? Not many.
Not many at all.
Not many.
But dude, I really fucking appreciate you. Thank you so much.
That was a good one.
We'll lock another one in hopefully. So
absolutely,
I'm super motivated on this shit, guys.
Yep.
And I got a couple more coming out. You guys, technically, they won't see this for probably 2 weeks, but still, I got shit just lined up, ready.
Yep.
But dude, I fucking appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Man, love. And then
whoop, let's get it.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate it.